Hi, Min.
Hi Bill, how are you?
I'm great. How about you?
Yeah, I'm fine. By the way, are you coming to the party on Halloween night?
Yeah, sure. I will be there, and I know how to decorate it. And do you know about history of Halloween?
Yes, I know some.
Oh, so can you tell me about that?
Sure, why not? So the history of Halloween?
Halloween is a festival that celebrates in many countries on 31st October. Many scholars said the Halloween that we know is actually originated from some 2000 years ago when Celtic people in Europe celebrated the end of the harvest and the start of the new year in a festival called Samhain. But that the Celtic people believed they could commune with the dead during that time by lighting big bonfires to ward off spirits. They also sacrificed crops and animals into those bonfires to appease their deities. The Kurds also believe that spiritual communication on Samhain made it easier for Celtic priests, or also known as Druids, to predict the futures. Villagers also attended the bonfire ceremonies, wearing animal heads and skins as costumes. In 43 AD, Romans conquered more of the Celtic territory. After a few centuries, the festivals that would begin Halloween evolved when several Christian popes attempted to replace pagan holidays like Samhain with their own religious observance. By 1000 AD, November 2 became All Souls' Day, the time for living to pray for the soul of the dead. To honor the saints, the November 1 served as an All Saints' Days or All Hallows Days, which made October 31 All Hallows Eve. Later began the Halloween. By the end of 3rd century, they had begun holy days of obligation in Western Christianity and involved in traditions such as ringing church bells for souls in purgatory. Origin of trick-or-treating dates back to 15th century, where some parts of England, Wales, Flanders, Bavaria, and Australia, where people baked and shared soul cakes for all Christian souls. At that time, a group of poor people, often children, would go to door, collect soul cakes in exchange for praying the dead, especially the souls of the givers, friends, and relatives. Jack O'Lantern came from Irish immigrants in the middle 19th century who left their country during potato famine. Back then, they were cut on shrooms, potatoes, and beets instead of pumpkins.
Halloween, which is also known as the Feast of the Dead, is celebrated around the world, but the way they're celebrated differs from each country. Depending on where you're celebrating, Halloween can either be silly or scary. People in most countries celebrate Halloween with pumpkins, candles, and costumes. However, some countries have a totally different way of celebrating Halloween. I'm going to take you through some countries which celebrate it differently. Firstly, let's talk about Russia. Can you believe me if I say that Russia is a country which does not celebrate Halloween? Yes, Russians say that celebrating Halloween goes against their cultural values and traditions. However, it is becoming popular among the youth, even though it is not accepted in most Russian traditional families. Although they do not celebrate Halloween, they celebrate something similar known as Kolyada, during which they dress up and go house by house to receive treats. Secondly, we have Ireland. Americans celebrate with simply any type of candy, but Irish have their own candy called the Barnbrack, which is Ireland's official Halloween dessert. And if any young couple find the ring in the cake, they tend to get married within a year. They also have another interesting ritual, which is called the ivy leaf, in which they place an ivy leaf into a cup of water and leave it overnight. If the leaf hasn't developed any spots, then it means that the person who placed the leaf will have good health until next Halloween. Thirdly, let's talk about Scotland. People in Scotland follow many Halloween rituals, and one of the interesting rituals is kale pudding, which is said to predict a person's romantic future. The length and the shape of the stalk is said to represent your future lover's height and figure, and the amount of soil around the roots represent wealth. Lastly, we have Mexico. No country celebrates Halloween better than Mexico. They celebrate it from the 31st October through to the 2nd November. The last day is also called the Day of the Dead. However, they say that it's the day to celebrate life, not death. Mexican families place ofrendas to honor the deceased relatives. In many parts of Mexico, families share meals alongside the graves of their relatives while sharing stories and memories about the loved ones they have lost.
Hey you guys, it's Benny. I'm gonna tell you guys how to decorate Halloween party. The first decoration is making the school firestones. Firstly, we need to drill our funnel and then prepare our fire system cement mix according to package instructions, and then get rid of air bubbles. After that, we need to fill it with our fire resistant cement put just like this, and we have to wait for 24 hours. After that, we have to remove the funnel carefully, and finally it requires to be wrapped with sandpaper. Yeah, it looks like just like this. So terrible. The next decoration is spooky ice hand. Firstly, the glue needs to be filled with water and to be freezed. Finally, we can wrap the clothes and put it into some drinks. The next decoration is so easy to make. We just need some different type of toys, and these toys are required to be colored in black. After that, we have to paint only their eyes with a red color. The next decoration is major thing for Halloween, because it is impossible to imagine without Halloween candle. At the beginning of making candle, the carton paper needs to be applied with a glue from the edge. The next thing that we have to do is paint it and get some small candle into our carton paper. Finally, we have to glue on the tray. This is my last thing that I recommend you guys. Firstly, we have to get some blanket and cut the center of it. After that, we have to set up the lantern and get some LED light into it. And then the lantern needs to be covered by blanket, and we have to put some felt to create ghost face.
The Halloween cookie, we need some flour, some butter, 2.5 teaspoons of ammonium carbonate, some sugar, 1 egg, 1 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Firstly, I'm just going to mix flour and ammonium carbonate together. After that, I add in my butter while my machine stirring. And now put in my sugar. and give it a quick stir. And vanilla extract and last it with egg. Secondly, I'm going to stir it around until I have a cooking towel, and I'm going to wipe it up in some foil and place it in fridge in 2 to 4 hours. Thirdly, I'll bring it out from fridge and roll it out with little bit flour. I have small ghost cookie cutter and I'm going to make some small ghost cookies. What I'll do is just cut in the dough. Now I have a sheet of cookies. I put it into the oven for about 5 minutes. I need to prepare a table with some baking paper on and just take all the cookies out there and place on the table to cool. For the decoration, I have some egg white and icing sugar. I just add egg white in and icing sugar in. Then I mix it and keep adding icing sugar until I have consistency that I want. I used a piping bag with a tip out here with just a little bit hole. And I just play royal icing in the cookies and use the regular toothpick to make it more beautiful.